All right, so we're diving into flipped classrooms and AI today.
Yeah.
And, you've given us a pretty interesting mix of sources this time around.
Oh, yeah.
Like we've got academic articles, research papers, even a teacher's blog, and reflections from a data science professor.
Really highlights the different facets of
It
this.
does.
Yeah.
So I think our mission for this deep dive should be to kind of explore,
Yeah,
how AI is transforming these flipped classrooms,
absolutely.
looking at both the opportunities and the challenges.
Yeah, going beyond just the surface level to see how it's impacting teaching
Exactly.
and learning in the real world.
So before we get too deep,
Yeah,
let's just make sure everyone listening is on the same page.
good idea.
When we talk about flipped classrooms,
Right.
we're talking about kind of flipping that traditional model, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where students engage with the content before class.
Mm-hmm.
That frees up that class time for like deeper discussion and application.
That's the core of it.
And
Yeah.
it's not even like a brand new concept.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Like it's got roots going way back at least to 1984
At least.
with that educator, Melita Nichkina.
Yeah, her work is foundational.
But it seems like AI is pushing the boundaries of what's even possible with this,
Oh, absolutely.
like in ways we couldn't have imagined back then.
Especially.
And, reading through these sources, it really struck me
Yeah.
how much Samara Marin,
Oh, yeah, the
the teacher, right, in her blog post, emphasizes the sheer time commitment involved in prepping for a flipped classroom.
It's a huge hurdle for a lot of teachers.
It is,
And AI seems to offer a solution to that.
right? Because one of the biggest hurdles for teachers is just
Yeah.
creating all this engaging content.
Exactly. All the videos, quizzes,
It's
simulations.
all that stuff. It takes so much time.
Yeah, and AI could automate a lot of it, right?
It could potentially free up teachers to focus more on teaching itself.
Instead of spending all their time making materials.
Exactly.
But I did also notice,
In the Flipped Learning and AI article, they caution
yes, they do.
that even when you're using AI to help generate content,
Mm-hmm.
teachers can't just check out, right?
Absolutely can.
They still have to be involved,
They need to be in the loop.
making sure it's all accurate and aligned with their
No,
goals.
100%. It's crucial to remember that AI is a tool.
A tool, not a replacement.
Yeah, think of it as a co-pilot.
Okay.
The teacher is still the pilot, ultimately,
Making the final decision.
and ensuring quality control.
So it's more of a collaboration.
Exactly.
AI can assist, but the teacher guides.
Precisely.
And, that guidance, I think, becomes even more important
Yes.
when we think about personalized learning, which is like
Yeah.
a core principle of this flipped classroom model, right?
It is.
But AI could take personalization to a whole new level.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the AI-driven flipped classroom paper
Oh, yeah.
really delves into that, doesn't it?
It does. It goes deep on that.
Like, talk about how these algorithms can analyze all the student data.
Right. Like how they do on quizzes, how they're interacting with the materials.
Right, and then tailor these learning paths for each student.
It's amazing, right? It moves away from that one-size-fits-all model.
A totally customized learning journey for each student.
Exactly. Adjusting the difficulty in real time, giving specific feedback.
It's almost like having a virtual tutor.
Yeah, it's like an AI tutor built into the system.
Which brings us to AI chatbots.
Oh, yeah.
The Frontiers review explored how these chatbots can provide instant support and feedback,
Right outside of class.
even when the teacher's not available.
Yeah, that's key in a flipped learning setup.
Right, because the student might be working on something
Exactly.
at home, and they get stuck,
And they need help right away.
and they can get that help from the chatbot.
It can be a game changer for students who struggle or need more clarification.
It all sounds so futuristic.
It does, doesn't it?
But is it really happening? Like, do we have real-world examples of this working? Okay, tell me more.
One of our sources is actually a video from a data science professor
Okay.
who has been using AI in his flipped classroom.
Wow.
And he uses it to analyze student work before class.
So he's not using it to deliver content.
Not just that, no.
He's using it to understand.
He's using it to get insights into their understanding.
Oh, understanding.
Yeah, so he can tailor his live sessions to be more effective.
That's incredible.
It's all about using AI to be more responsive to student needs.
To make the most of that face-to-face time.
Exactly.
So again, it's not about replacing the teacher.
Bro.
It's about empowering the teacher.
Exactly, giving them more tools and insights.
And there's research supporting this, right?
There is. The Flipped Classroom with Artificial Intelligence study found that combining things like voiceover presentations with AI
Okay.
actually led to better student performance and more satisfaction.
So it's not just theory, it's actually working.
The research is really promising.
But of course, any new technology has challenges.
Yeah, and the flipped learning and AI study pointed out a big one.
What's that?
The potential for over-reliance on AI.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
Could this actually hinder students' critical thinking skills?
If they become too dependent on it
Will they develop the skills they need to solve problems on their own?
to thrive in a complex world.
Yeah, exactly. It's a real
It's a
concern.
balancing act, right?
It is. We want to use the power of AI without sacrificing those essential skills.
And it seems like so much of this hinges on the teacher's role.
Absolutely.
If AI is taking over things like creating content, even grading,
Yeah,
how does that change what teachers do in the classroom?
that's a big question.
And several of our sources touched on it.
It did. The Will AI Flip the Role of the Classroom Teacher article
Right.
suggests that AI could free teachers up
To do what?
to focus on those higher level interactions.
Like what?
Things like mentoring students, facilitating discussions,
Okay.
fostering creativity, those things that are harder to automate.
Right. So it's about empowering teachers to do what they do best.
And that using AI tutors in a flipped classroom article agreed, right?
It did. It emphasized that the teacher is still vital
For what?
for curating the AI content, guiding the learning, making sure the technology serves the pedagogical goals.
But it's still a partnership.
It is. AI assists, but the teacher leads.
And that leads us to thinking about
Yeah.
the future of flipped classrooms in this age of AI.
It's a future full of possibilities.
But also a lot of uncertainties.
Definitely.
Like, will AI personalize learning even more?
To a degree we can't even imagine right now.
And how do we make sure it's all implemented ethically?
That's a huge question, ensuring equity,
Making sure all students benefit.
regardless of their background.
Those are big questions to consider as AI keeps evolving.
They are, and it's important to remember that we're still in the early stages.
Yeah, we are.
What we're seeing now is just a glimpse of what's possible.
The potential is huge. It is, and it's up to us to shape that potential in a way that benefits everyone.
To make sure AI in education is used for good.
Exactly.
That's a great place to pause for now.
Yeah. Let's take a break and come back to this.
All right, we'll be back soon to discuss more about the real-world implications of all this.
Sounds good. Yeah, it is a really exciting frontier.
It is.
But like with any frontier, there are definitely uncharted territories
Oh, yeah.
and potential pitfalls to watch out for.
Right.
And one that comes to mind that we should be mindful of is scalability.
Scalability, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Because we've seen this one professor, right,
Mm-hmm.
finding success with AI in his classroom.
Yeah.
But you have to think, like, creating those videos, designing those assignments,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time, expertise,
Resources.
right?
Yeah.
So how does this model actually work
Right.
for teachers who might not have all of that, you know?
That is the million-dollar question.
It is.
And it really highlights a key challenge. With implementing AI in education more broadly,
Which is?
it's resource intensive.
Okay.
Developing those high-quality educational videos,
Right.
designing those AI-powered platforms,
Mm-hmm.
training teachers to use these tools effectively.
It all takes a lot.
It requires significant investment.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that technology
Yeah.
alone isn't enough, right?
It's not a magic bullet.
We can't just throw AI at a problem.
No.
We need to invest in the infrastructure,
Yeah.
the training, the support system
The whole ecosystem.
to make it work for
To
everyone.
make it scalable, sustainable.
And it's not just about the initial investment either, right?
Right. It's about ongoing support.
Ongoing development.
Congressional development.
Because AI is evolving so quickly,
Rapidly.
what's cutting edge today might be obsolete tomorrow.
Exactly. We need systems that can adapt.
Systems and people,
Yes, definitely.
which is why those collaborations are so important.
Oh, absolutely.
Between teachers, researchers, developers,
Everyone needs to be talking to each other.
to figure out how to make this work.
Yeah. How to implement AI effectively and sustainably.
And those collaborations,
Yeah.
they need to extend beyond just the traditional players in education, too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We need to get parents involved, policymakers.
The community as a whole.
Right, because this isn't just a technical issue.
It's a societal issue.
And speaking of societal issues,
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring us back to the content of what we teach.
Okay.
We've been talking about how AI changes how students learn,
Yeah.
but could it also change what they learn?
That's a fascinating question.
It is.
And I don't think there's an easy answer.
Right.
As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, it's bound to influence what skills and knowledge are valued.
That makes sense.
We might see a greater emphasis on things like computational thinking,
Okay.
data literacy, ethical reasoning.
The skills you need to navigate an AI-driven world.
Exactly. It's not just about using AI.
It's about thinking about AI.
And understanding its capabilities,
Its limitations.
its impact on society.
It's about critical thinking in this digital age.
Yeah, that's crucial.
Which brings us to digital literacy. If we're using AI in education,
Right.
we have to make sure students can navigate the digital world safely, responsibly.
Absolutely. That's fundamental.
And will AI flip the role of the classroom teacher? Article talked about this too, right?
It did.
Something about teachers becoming...
Ethics and digital literacy guides.
Yeah, that was it.
It's a new role for teachers.
It's about teaching students to evaluate information online.
To recognize bias, to protect their privacy.
It's a whole new set of skills they need.
Essential skills for this digital age.
And it's not just teaching these skills separately either, right?
No, it's about integrating them into everything.
Do the whole curriculum.
Across all subjects.
Critical thinking, media literacy, ethical decision-making.
It should be woven into the fabric of learning.
It's about empowering students to be informed, responsible citizens in this digital age.
Precisely. That's the goal.
And that brings us to another crucial part of this.
That is.
Equity.
Yes, equity. Absolutely crucial.
How do we make sure
Yeah.
that AI benefits all learners?
Right.
No matter their background, their access to resources?
That's the big question.
Because we talk about personalized learning, these customized learning journeys.
Yeah.
But what if those journeys just end up reinforcing existing inequalities?
That's a real concern.
What if these AI tools are mainly accessible to those who are already privileged?
Those are valid concerns, and we need to address them head on.
We do. And I think it starts with acknowledging that technology isn't neutral.
Oh, absolutely not.
It reflects the values of its creators.
The biases of its creator.
So we have to be critical of the tools we're using.
We do.
We have to ask, who designed this?
Yeah.
What data was it trained on?
Important questions.
Is it perpetuating biases?
Those are the right questions.
And it's not just the technology itself.
Yeah.
It's how it's implemented.
Exactly.
We need to make sure these AI tools are accessible to all students.
Regardless of their background.
Their socioeconomic status.
Their location.
Their learning differences.
All of that.
It's about making sure AI bridges the equity gap.
Instead of widening it.
And that means empowering teachers.
Yes, absolutely.
To use AI in a way that's inclusive.
And equitable.
Giving them the training to understand the biases.
Yeah.
To use these tools to benefit all learners.
To benefit everyone.
Every student deserves the opportunity to thrive in this age of AI.
I agree, and that opportunity needs to extend beyond the classroom, too.
Beyond the classroom, what do you mean?
We need to think about how AI can support lifelong learning.
Oh, interesting.
How it can help people adapt to a world that's constantly changing.
Because learning doesn't stop when you graduate.
It shouldn't.
It's an ongoing process.
Lifelong learning.
And AI could make that more accessible.
More personal.
More engaging. I'm thinking back to that data science professor from the video. He was clearly so passionate about using AI to improve his teaching.
Yeah, he was.
But he also acknowledged the potential pitfalls.
He did.
He talked about constantly reflecting.
Critically evaluating.
Making sure the AI was serving its purpose.
That's the mindset we all need.
It is. Approaching AI with a healthy dose of skepticism.
With a commitment to ongoing evaluation.
Understanding its limits.
Knowing that it's a tool.
Not a solution on its own.
Exactly.
And a tool that can be used for good or for bad.
That's right. The responsibility is on us.
To make sure it's used to create a better educational experience for everyone.
More just, more equitable, more enriching.
Yeah, it's a powerful message.
It is.
And it leads us to the question of the future.
The future of AI in education.
We've talked about the current state, the opportunities, the challenges.
And the near future.
But what's next?
What's on the horizon?
What are the big trends, the exciting possibilities, the breakthroughs?
That's where it gets really interesting.
It does.
We're seeing these rapid advancements in AI.
Like what?
Particularly in natural language processing.
Okay.
And machine learning.
Right, and those are going to have a big impact on education.
A profound impact.
We're already seeing those AI-powered tutors emerging.
Yes, the ones that can adapt to individual learning styles.
Give personalized feedback.
Even simulate real-world situations.
It's pretty amazing.
It is, and they're becoming so sophisticated, more
Yeah.
natural, more nuanced in their
Yeah, and
interactions.
it's not just for students either.
No, we're seeing AI coaching platforms for teachers, too,
Yeah.
providing guidance, professional development.
Wow. Think about the possibilities.
It's mind-blowing.
Every learner having access to a personalized AI tutor,
Available 24/7.
giving customized support.
It could revolutionize learning.
And for teachers,
Yes.
imagine having AI tools to help analyze student data,
Identify learning gaps.
create those differentiated learning experiences.
It could free up so much time for teachers.
Time to focus on mentoring, coaching.
Building relationships.
Sounds like science fiction.
It does, but it's becoming reality.
It's really happening.
It is. And as we move into this future,
Mm.
we need to be prepared for the ethical and societal implications.
Right. We can't just ignore those.
We need to have these conversations about the role of AI,
About the balance between personalization and equity
about the importance of human connection.
in this increasingly digital world.
Exactly.
And those conversations,
Yeah.
they're not just for educators.
Or technologists.
They're for everyone.
For society as a whole.
Because the future of education is the future of our society.
Well said. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it really does feel like a turning point,
Like a fundamental shift.
with all these opportunities.
And challenges.
Yeah, and we've talked about a lot of the challenges.
We have
Accuracy, bias, the digital literacy piece.
equity over reliance.
Yeah, all those things are really important to consider.
Yeah.
But I want to end on a bit more of a hopeful note.
Okay. Yep.
What are you most excited about when you think about AI in education? Like, what gets you fired up about the possibilities?
For me, it's the potential for AI to unlock human potential.
That's a big one.
It is helping every learner find their passions, develop their talents.
Reach their full potential.
Exactly. And we talked about personalized learning, right?
We did.
AI could actually make that a reality.
They truly personalized
Imagine every student having a learning experience tailored to their needs,
to their interests.
to their learning style.
It's about letting learners take ownership of their education.
Yes, giving them agency.
And it's not just about students either.
No, it's not.
AI can empower teachers too.
Absolutely.
Imagine teachers having these AI tools.
To help them analyze data,
Identify those learning gaps.
create truly differentiated experiences for their students.
Think of all the time that would free up.
So much time.
Time they could spend mentoring, building those relationships with students,
It's about shifting the focus
from just delivering content
to guiding and supporting learners.
to fostering a love of learning that goes beyond the classroom.
Lifelong learning, yeah.
And AI can play a role in that too.
It can. Imagine AI platforms connecting learners with mentors.
With resources, with opportunities.
Opportunities that match their passions.
It's like creating this whole learning ecosystem.
That's the vision.
And is it achievable?
I think it is. We have the technology. We're figuring out the pedagogy.
What's holding us back then?
I think it's the collective will
The willingness to invest.
to invest in the research, the development, the training.
To make this vision a reality.
The exact
So for everyone listening out there, you've been on this deep dive.
into flipped classrooms and AI,
We've explored the potential, the good, and the bad.
the benefits, the challenges.
The ethical questions, the importance of equity,
You've seen how this could transform learning and teaching.
how it could change education as we know it.
Yeah, pretty fundamentally.
But the future of AI in education
It's not set in stone.
is not inevitable.
It's up to all of us to shape it,
Ask those tough questions.
to demand responsible use,
To fight for equity and access.
to make sure technology serves us, not the other way around.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah,
we'll leave you with this.
one last thought.
The future of education is in our hands.
It is.
Let's use AI wisely, thoughtfully.
And with a commitment to a better future for all learners,
That's what it's all about.
it is at